Did you know that most browser functionality can be accessed in Vue or Nuxt within a matter of seconds with an easy-to-use wrapper function? Tell me this, have you ever used a browser API that made you rip your hair out? Well, I have. VueUse, the utility function library for Vue.js, is an indispensable tool I go nowhere without. It's tree shakeable, so it doesn't explode your bundle. Fully typed for an awesome developer experience, and has over 200 functions. Everything from manipulating arrays and formatting date strings to consuming event source streams and plugging into browser APIs. I've split this video up into 3 sections: functions I use almost always, functions I use depending on the project, and functions I don't use that often but are still useful in the right scenario. You'll notice a lot of these are convenience wrappers, and honestly, that's the whole point of this library. Convenience.
Oh, how convenient!
All right, if this sounds interesting to you and you don't want to lose your hair, then stick around. Let's go. Functions I use often. Now, these are the functions I use in nearly every project. Use storage. Reactivity meets local storage or session storage. It's the easiest way to keep user preferences or session data synced across page reloads. I use this usually to store authentication tokens, and I have a video on that coming up soon. Use URL search params. Saves you from manually parsing query strings. This is super useful for search filters or pagination states in the URL. On keystroke. Now this is perfect for hotkeys. I use this to let users press / to focus a search box or escape to close a modal. Also, recently used it to bind letters of the alphabet to different tools in a mapping app. Use focus. Focus is any HTML element on demand. Great for login forms or modals. You can use this on component load or when an action occurs. And you can watch focus state. Use event source. Ideal for real-time dashboards or notifications. I'm using this actually on a current project I'm working on to provide read-only updates to the app. You know, not everything needs to be a WebSocket. Watch array. Ever tried to watch a ref array and nothing happened when you push to it? Well, this composable fixes that pain. Use time ago, use date format. These 2 functions replace basic date formatting from date FNS or moment, if you remember that. These 2 are quick wins for showing things like 5 minutes ago or MMDDYYY without an extra dependency. Create reusable template. It's a bit of an anti-pattern, but if you have a tiny snippet of HTML that you reuse 3+ times in a component, this can save you from making a whole new component. Actually kind of handy, even though it's an anti-pattern. Computed async. Finally, an async version of computed. No more awkward watch hacks for async calls tied to, reactive dependencies. We've needed this for a while, and it's here in VueUse. Functions I use occasionally are functions that I use for specific use cases. So not in every project, just sometimes. Use ref history is great for implementing undo and redo. Think drawing apps like ExcaliDraw, for example, where you want to step back through user actions. Use dropzone makes file uploads dead simple. Just bind it to a div and you're done. If you're not using a UI component library that has a file upload control, this function will handle it for you. Use file dialog is handy if you're not using a UI library with file input helpers. This lets you open the dialog programmatically and then monitor the output of the result. This and use dropzone cover all the file upload use cases you're going to need. Use object URL. Now you've selected a file, maybe an image, and you want to display it to the user. Use object URL is the function that lets you do this and goes well together with use base64. This converts data into base64 for inline display or sending it in URLs or APIs. Works well with use file dialog and use object URL, but can be used to convert really anything into base64. Use text area auto size is a small UX upgrade that makes any text area feel more polished. Use web worker. Wow, this is a big one. Imagine crunching a big data set without freezing the UI. This makes that easy. You get an observable reference to the worker channel and helper functions, neatly wrapped in one single function. Use idle. Detects when users go idle. Banks and secure apps use this to auto log out or pause activity. I'm also pretty sure this functionality is used in the corporate training portal at my work to, make sure I'm not AFK watching DEI training videos. Use WebSocket. It's exactly what it sounds like. Makes WebSockets feel like a first-class citizen. Now, I still use SignalR for .NET stuff, but this is perfect for lighter setups like Nitro. Now that's a cool function. It waits for a specific condition to become true and then triggers the logic. It's like a reactive set timeouts that watches values. This is useful to trigger user limits on certain actions. UI only, of course, so you need to make your API secure too, of course. Whenever is a cleaner version of watch that only fires when a value is truthy. It's good for reacting to non-null form inputs or flags, stuff like that. Honorable mentions, these I don't use as much, but they're cool. So we're gonna zoom through these. Use last changed. Great for making dirty fields or detecting when a value was last updated. This is useful for enabling buttons when a change in the form has occurred, for example. Use document visibility, use element visibility, and use window focus. Build smarter user experiences. For example, pause a video when the user tabs out, or autoplay only when visible. I'm sure you've seen this in YouTube or Instagram. Use broadcast channel, keeps tabs in sync, whether it's off status, dark mode, or shared drafts. Actually, using this one at work right now, very handy. Use clipboard and use clipboard items. These are copy-paste helpers that save you from writing event handlers. Basically, convenience wrappers. Use color mode is useful for syncing light and dark themes, and it works great with Tailwind, but if you're using Nuxt UI or some other UI library, it's probably built in. Use Event Bus is a quick and easy event system within your app. Great for loose coupling between components, but you gotta be careful about the additional complexity, and remember, this is all in memory, so don't try building Mediator here. Use cloned is a one-liner for deep cloning reactive objects. No more manual JSON parse, JSON stringify. Actually, use cloned. It uses that internally, so one-liner convenience. Use share triggers the native mobile or desktop share dialog. It's good for social sharing buttons or sharing content across apps. Great for PWAs meant to run on mobile devices. Now, I don't know about you, but I never see a share dialog in Windows. Use web notification, wraps the notification API. It's great for showing system-level alerts like download complete. Again, great for mobile, but this kind of functionality can also be found in Slack or Teams on PCs. Use device list, lists all input and output devices. If you're building a video chat or audio tools, it's essentially have access to these, and this function makes that simpler. And it's reactive, so if you unplug a microphone and plug in a different webcam, this will trigger. Use file system access, lets users read and write files directly to their system. Super cool, but beware of browser support. Use navigator language, detects the user's browser language. Useful for pre-selecting locale or loading translations. It's reactive, so if the user changes browser language, you can change the app's language too. Use geolocation, gets user's location via the geolocation API. Great for location-based filtering or features. Just like with notifications API, this will prompt the user for permissions. Use network checks the network status and type. It's handy for apps where offline or slow network handling matters, or if you're building a PWA. Use user media can access camera and microphone. If you're doing video chat, streaming, or media recording, this will make that a lot easier. Use fetch is a solid fetch wrapper if you're not using Nuxt. Now, I don't use it much because Nuxt has this baked in, but if you're using Vue, this function can be pretty handy. Use title lets you update the document title reactively. It's good in view-only apps because in Nuxt, the head tag handles it. And lastly, computed with control. Now, it feels like cheating. Sometimes you need to manually trigger computed updates. Think of it as the power user version of computed. Now, putting together this list reminded me of how many cool browser features there are. And also, sadly, how dependent I am on these convenience functions. Could I spin up my own WebSocket connection? I mean, I could, but do I need to reinvent the wheel? Hope this was helpful. If so, feel free to leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.